Welcome back, everybody. My name is Kelly McAllister, and I have the honor of getting to talk with Jackson's own Wakeema Hollis. Thanks so much for being here.
Of course. Thanks for having me. I'm having a
Of
good
course,
time talking to you.
me too, me too. Of course, you were supposed to be here back in April for the United Way's First Ladies Luncheon, and well, COVID happened. And so we are making that up now. We're getting to chat with you thanks to technology. You're in New York City, we're in Jackson, but folks want to hear from you. They want to know what's going on with you. So let's jump right in. Has anything returned to normal for you right now? Have you been able to work at all? Have you been given dates of when you might return?
Well, for the entertainment industry, especially film and TV, everything had to stop. In order to
Mhm.
make a television show or a movie, people have to work in very close physical proximity to each other, and it takes a lot of people. So we are not back quite yet, but most of the major studios have a game plan for how to reopen and how to go about that. But we're all taking it very slowly. And especially with New York not being open yet as a city, I think probably, this city will be one of the last to start reshooting and doing all the
Mhm.
stuff that the film and television industry needs to do. So we're not quite there yet, but I do think that that is the right path and that's the right decision to take it slowly, do it right, and keep everyone safe.
Patience is not always easy, is it?
It is not, but they say it's a virtue. So
It is. We are working on that. Well, of course, you are an actress right now, but you started out in modeling. You were actually a student at JCM, Jackson Central Mary, when you started modeling. How old were you, and when did you realize that, hey, this is something I could do for a living?
I started modeling when I was 15 years old, and
Oh, wow.
I didn't really think that it was something I could do as a career until I graduated from high school. I went to one semester of college at Middle Tennessee State, and I already had agents in place all over the country and some out of the country. And they really encouraged me to just try it, just come and try and see what happens. And I kind of knew that modeling and traveling the world would be a kind of education that I could never really get from a textbook or a classroom. And I really wanted to see the world and experience other cultures. So I just went for it. I wasn't really sure what would happen, but looking back on it now, I think it all worked out.
Oh, definitely. And you had some really key folks in your life here in Jackson that helped push you in that direction.
For sure. I had already fallen in love with acting and the theater by the
Mhm.
time I got to JCM. But when I got there and I met the wonderful Miss Rebecca Fly, she really gave me the tools and the keys I needed to realize that chasing this as a career path was actually something that was tangible and attainable. And I had never really thought of it in that way before. And she was really the first acting teacher I had that I connected with on a deeper level. And I was so fortunate to have a person like her and a teacher like her and just that type of influence in my life
Mhm.
and in my career. And she and I still talk all the time. And so it's just been so great to have her friendship and her guidance.
She is a wonderful lady, and she is so very proud of you. You're definitely her daughter in her daughter in her eyes for sure.
Yes.
You've worked in a very image conscious business as a model, as an actress, and we're kind of seeing a shift, a really good shift as far as a focus on positive body image, and that not everybody's the same size, not everybody looks the same. So, what
Yeah.
message do you have for women of all ages about what is beautiful and who is beautiful?
Well, first, I would just like to say that I am so happy that we as a society are moving towards a more body positive view.
Mhm.
And I finally see that reflected in the media and advertising and designers that are finally starting to make dresses and clothes in all sizes. And I think that's really important because bodies of all shapes and colors, able, disabled, should all be accepted in the same space and we should all feel welcome. So I think this body positivity is the way to go. It's the only way to go. And I feel
Mhm.
so great about that. And I think what makes a woman attractive and what makes her vibrant is the fact that she loves herself and accepts herself for who and what she is, because confidence is key. And when you see a woman that has that, regardless of what shape her body is, you want to be friends with her. You're like, wow, this is a great woman. So
Right.
I guess that's what I would say to women all over. Just love yourself, because it shows.
Yes, other women build other women, strong
Hmm.
women for sure.
Exactly.
Well, you have done so much. You've experienced so much as a model. Do you have a favorite experience?
If I were to pinpoint a favorite experience, I guess it would be meeting Oprah Winfrey. I had the
Oh, wow.
pleasure of going on her show. I was modeling for the designer Vera Wang, and she took
Mhm.
just a handful of models to Chicago. We stayed overnight. And when I walked into Harpo Studios and just saw how huge it was and how much, it was just a well-oiled machine. And
Mhm.
I stood face to face with Oprah and I shook her hand. It was so inspirational. And it's just a memory that I will always have.
That is awesome. Well, you have all obviously, as a model, been the focus of not only runway, but you've done print, you've done covers, you've done editorials. So, for the layperson, any tips you might have for a good selfie or looking good on a Zoom? I mean, I'm asking for a friend.
Yes. Asking for a friend.
Yes.
I would say the most important thing is lighting. Lighting is
Yes.
everything. Natural light always works. For this interview, I plopped myself in front of a window and let the
Me
natural
too.
light do it all. So never underestimate the power of natural light. Stand in front of a window, and if you're taking selfies, take a ton. You're going to need to take a bunch just to know what you like and what you don't like. Don't expect them all to be stellar. Mine aren't when I do it. Take a bunch and then just choose the one that makes you feel best.
See, this is really good advice. Very, very good advice. And now you have made this transition from a very successful modeling career into acting. So you said that you were introduced to acting very young and had a love for theater. So this is nothing new for you, right?
No, acting was my first love. I started in church doing the Easter plays and the Christmas plays. And my mom, Frances Hollis, would make little outfits for me. And, she would write
Oh,
monologues for me.
right.
And I just loved it so much. So it was my first love. And when I met Becky Fly, she took me to her agent in Memphis and introduced me. And she and I went there with the intention of me becoming an actress. But
Hmm.
modeling is just this wonderful detour that happened. And I'm glad it happened. It gave me a lot of life experiences and it gave me a
Hmm.
lot of career experience that helps me now as an actress. But it's really great to kind of come full circle
Hmm.
and be doing what I love full time for a living. I just feel so fortunate.
Well, you have some very coveted roles, I would say, not only on the marvelous Mrs. Maisel, you play Harriet, and of course the fabulous Monica Colby on Dynasty. Do you connect with one or both of these characters? If so, how? Or is there a character that you relate to more?
For sure. I find that every character I play, I am bringing an element of myself to that character. So both
Mhm.
Monica and Harriet are me, are a version of me. And Dynasty is just so much fun. These crazy cars, these crazy clothes. Monica has an amazing wardrobe, and it's just so much fun to play. But I would say that Harriet was the most impactful for me. And
Mhm.
especially considering what we are going through as a country right now
Mhm.
in terms of race and the conversations we are having. When I was shooting Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, we had a lot of conversations about race because the character Harriet is a young Black woman
Mhm.
trying to make it in a world that openly tells her that she can't do things because of the color of her skin. And thinking about that and looking where we are now, I'm happy that we've come so far, but I can also see that we have some work to do so that we go even further.
What is it about acting that is just speaks to you, that it's what you want to do?
I love being a storyteller in that
Mhm.
capacity, that you can open the eyes of people to new things and, introduce them to a type of person that they might not meet in their real life and a different point of view. So there's just something that I really love about bringing that to a person in their home or in the theater and being able to be a storyteller in that way. I love it. It's so great and it's so rewarding.
Do you feel like this is something that you will do forever, or do you think there's going to be another phase in your career?
I don't know. I am a person that likes to do a lot of different things,
Hmm.
and I would certainly like to try my hand at directing, at
Hmm.
producing, at writing. I would like to do a little bit of it all, but acting I would do even if no one was paying me to do it because I just love it. I just get so much joy from it.
Now, you obviously work with some pretty awesome folks. Is there anybody that you would love to work with, either television or movies?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say Viola Davis would
Oh, yeah.
be a great person to work with. I love her work and I love
Hmm.
how she tells really poignant stories. And I mean, there are a ton of people. I guess right now it's a bit hard for me to think of, but yeah, I think Viola Davis is a good one to go with.
Oh, I would agree, definitely.
Yeah.
Now, you've recently gone from television to the big screen. What was that like to see yourself on the silver screen for the first time?
It filled me with so many emotions that I'm not even sure I have the words to describe them, but it was very surreal to see myself on that screen and in the theater and hearing the people around me react to me on screen and just getting into the story. It was just a really great feeling to sit there and see myself in that capacity. And also, I really have to thank everyone from my hometown because so many people went to see the movie and they contacted me on social media saying, Wakeema, we are so proud of you. We just saw this movie. It's so great to see one of our own on the big screen. And people just continue to cheer me on. And that feels so good.
Well, you are definitely beloved here. The movie is called The Photograph. If folks want to see it now, how can they do that? Where can they stream it or
It's
buy
on
it?
demand. So
Oh,
you could
awesome.
rent it, I'm pretty sure, from Amazon or whatever your on demand app is. And so it's very accessible to everyone right now, especially with a lot of people still having time at home.
Yes.
And I think it's a really modern and beautiful love story. So please do check it out on demand if you have the time.
Sounds like a great date night for some folks, huh?
For sure. Pop some popcorn and get into it.
Sounds perfect. Well, Wakeema, thank you so much. We are breaking this interview up into three segments. If you missed the very first one, we're kind of talking about what's going on in our world. Wakeema gives us her thoughts, and strongly encourage you to view that one. We're going to have another segment that's going to follow in a couple of days. So please make sure to tune in so we get to hear Wakeema talk a little bit about her hometown, about the city of Jackson, coming up in this next segment. Of course, she was supposed to be the keynote speaker for the First Ladies Luncheon for the United Way of West Tennessee, but COVID kept that from happening, but we would not let this chance pass up to get an update. So please tune in for those. If you want to help the United Way, click that donate button. Every little bit helps the community around you. We'll see you in a little bit.
Hello, my name is Anita K. Archer, and I am chair of the Women's Leadership Council of the United Way of West Tennessee.
And my name is Matt Marshall, and I have the pleasure to serve as President and CEO of United Way of West Tennessee.
The times we are living in have presented several challenges for us all, especially our ability to socially engage with one another in close personal contact.
And so many of us have had to create new daily practices for work and home.
We've seen our economy negatively impacted as friends and family have been laid off and businesses have been forced to shut their doors.
Even our nonprofit partners have faced challenges to fundraise after having to cancel chief events amid this pandemic.
Even our First Ladies Luncheon was not immune. But we are so thankful to still present you this opportunity to hear Wakeema. She is a jewel of the Jackson community.
And in the midst of this challenging time, we ask that you would please consider donating to United Way. We're working hard every day to prop up nonprofits in the community so that no one journeys through this pandemic alone.
You can give by simply clicking the donate button on your screen.
And we thank you for your support of United Way. 14 counties strong, we are West Tennessee.